नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित् सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. Namaskar to all. Today we are here to listen something about the life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda, as we know, the great disciple of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the preacher of universal religion, the preacher of the truth. Swami Vivekananda's, the same aspect we are going to discuss today for some time. Swami Vivekananda as a seeker of truth, Swami Vivekananda as an experiencer of truth, and Swami Vivekananda as a preacher of truth. The three aspects of the same personality we are going to discuss here. We are trying to reflect on these points. What is the truth? We are hearing right from the beginning of our life that Satyameva Jayate Nanritam, the truth alone triumphs. Is it the only truth which when we are using in our language, the verbally when we speak and all these things, is it the truth is limited only for such places, or it has the further existence also? Whenever we discuss about the truth, we take very superficially that concept. But Sri Ramakrishna, he look at this concept in a different way. According to him, what is the truth? Truth is nothing but the God. That is what the scriptures are also telling us. Satyameva Jayate Nanritam. It means the existence, knowledge, bliss, the Parabrahman, Paramatman, the real existence alone is the true. Rest, all other things are nothing but the appearance. So, Sri Ramakrishna has told in very clear way that truth and God, they are nothing but the one. God is the truth and truth is the God. So that's why, as we know, Sri Ramakrishna was 24/7. He was used to remain in the God intoxicated mood. That's why he was always one with the truth. He was the embodiment of the truth. For our sake, for the sake of this humanity, he gave further wonderful teaching that we need to experience this truth. That experience of this truth in our life is nothing but the purpose of human life. What is the goal of human life? He used to say, the God realization is the goal of human life. So it means the God alone is truth, and experiencing the God, that is the only purpose of human life. Why we have received this human birth, why we are here, it is to realize the God, to understand the truth of life. That's why when we, in the scriptural language, we keep saying that Atma Sakshatkara. Atma Anubhuti. Atma Anubhuti. So it means the experience of truth in direct. So we are trying to see with these aspects in the life of Swami Vivekananda. Narendranath Datta, the son of Vishwanath Datta and Bhuvaneshwari Devi. As such, Narendranath was when he was the fond of this, he was the seeker of truth right from the beginning. Very few people get this kind of wisdom. This wisdom is not so common. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit Yatati Siddhaye Yatatam Api Siddhanam Kaschin Ma Vetti Tatvataha. Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Many people, out of those thousands of seekers, Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit Yatati Siddhaye, hardly someone comes on this path of God realization. Hardly someone comes here. Then Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit Yadati Siddhaye Yadatam Api Siddhanam Kaschin Ma Vetti Tatvataha. Among those people also, hardly someone realizes me, understands me as a principle. We can see in the life of Bhagavan Sri Krishna that many people have understood him in a different way. Some few people, they looked at him as a king. Few people, they looked at him as a son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Few people looked at him as a cowherd boy of the Vrindavan. All these things, but there were few people who understood him as a principle, as he was. What the principle was incarnated in the form of Sri Krishna, hardly few could understood. So Bhagavan is telling those things to Arjuna. Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit Yatati Siddhaye. So the same thing is applied here. When Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was moving on this planet in his mortal frame, that many people came in his touch. Many literaries, many revolutionaries, many, what you can say, the spiritual seekers, but hardly someone, alas, very few could understand what the principle was incarnated in the form of Sri Ramakrishna. Very few were there. We call them the inner circle disciples. So inner circle disciples, they were the lay devotees as well as the monastics also. So that is the thing which is always happens with these great personalities. When they are moving on in their mortal frame, it is very difficult to recognize them. We can recognize them only if we are having that kind of potential, if we are having that kind of insight, intuition. And how that intuition comes? It comes through the tapas. It comes through the sadhana. Then only it is possible. Otherwise, we see, but we could not understand what is going on. That is the misery of our life. Anyhow, so like that, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was residing in the Dakshineshwar temple garden, and it was the earnest call from his heart that after so much of sadhana, after so much of tapasya and realizations in the different paths, so after whom to pass this wisdom, whom to pass this knowledge, who can be there who will hold on this treasure and will guide this universe, this creation. So that was the question, and that's why he used to go in a lonely place and he used to call unto them that, oh, where you are, please come. My tongue is getting burned by talking these worldly matters. I need the sincere spiritual seekers who can understand what the principles I am going to preach, who can understand what the realizations I had and how these realizations can be spreaded all over the humanity. The way of peace was there with Sri Ramakrishna, but he was in the need of preacher. When these things were happening, suddenly, one day, again I would like to mention the vision of Sri Ramakrishna only. One day Sri Ramakrishna says that I was standing on the terrace of that kuti of Dakshineshwar, and I could see the lump of light. It travelled from the direction of Kashi towards the Kolkata, and it entered into Kolkata and disappeared. That time itself I understood that someone, great personality, is going to take birth in this Kolkata. And further we can understand that he direct this incident towards the Narendranath. It was nothing but the Narendranath who came in the form, that Nara Rishi, in the form of Narendranath Datta. Many places we keep telling that Swami Vivekananda, it is of course it was the vision of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna that one Rishi among the Saptarshis have come on this earth, Nara Rishi, Sri Ramakrishna used to call him, so that Nara Rishi, out of compassion, out of his love to the humanity, out of grace, he has come here to bless us, to guide us, to remove the miseries of our life. And that Nara Rishi is nothing but the Vivekananda. Once Swami Vivekananda was been asked by one of the Swamis that Swamiji, whether these Saptarshis are our regular Saptarshis, this Angira, Pulastya, Agastya, etc. So that time Swami Vivekananda says, no, these are the Saptarshis, they are the Pravritti Margi Saptarshis, about whom there is elaborately mentioned in the scriptures. But there are the other Saptarshis, Sanat Kumar, Sanat Sujatiya, etc. So Swami Vivekananda belongs to those Saptarshis. Among those Saptarshis, mostly Sanat Kumar or Sanat Sujatiya was known as a Nara Rishi. So Vivekananda belongs to that category. They were nothing but the embodiment of truth. They were nothing but the embodiment of spirituality. And Vivekananda is one among them. He always, out of his compassion, he now and then, he comes to this earth to guide the humanity. So that was the real nature of Vivekananda. And that was the experience of Sri Ramakrishna. When Sri Ramakrishna saw Narendranath, he understood he is not an ordinary person. His outer shell is very ordinary, but the inner being is not from this place. It is from somewhere far, somewhere else. It belongs to that eternal spiritual realm. That was the real identity of Swami Vivekananda. That was the real identity of Narendranath. So somehow Sri Ramakrishna wanted to make him aware of it. So whenever Sri Ramakrishna, once, first visit of Narendranath with Sri Ramakrishna was in Surendranath Mitra's house, when Vivekananda pleased Sri Ramakrishna with his divine melodious voice and songs. Sri Ramakrishna invited him at the garden house of Dakshineshwar, where he used to reside. And first time when Narendranath went there, Sri Ramakrishna, in his words, in his own words, there is a description I will read for you, that Sri Ramakrishna says, how was the appearance of Narendra? Narendra entered this room on the first day through the western door, which is facing the Ganga. I noticed that he took no care of his body. The hair of his head and his dress were not at all trim. Unlike others, he had no desire at all for any external object. He was, as it were, unattached to anything. His eyes indicated that a major part of his mind was perforce drawn ever inward. When I saw all this, I wondered, is it ever possible that such a great spiritual aspirant possessing a super abundance of sattva should live in Kolkata, the home of worldly people? So that was the first impression which Ramakrishna was having about Sri Narendranath. It is not so easy. The first, when we go in, nowadays we are having ample of discussions about this thing. What is the aura? What are the vibrations? These, that, and all these things. We know there is no necessity of too much of intuition, of too much of thinking. We can easily understand if we feel a bit happy, bit positive in somebody's company. We can see there will be some personalities with very good sattvic aura, very good sattvic vibrations. We feel happy. We won't feel, but if you go in the company with some people or in the close to some people, we can feel the restlessness. So that is the influence of your personality. So when Narendranath entered into Sri Ramakrishna's room, Sri Ramakrishna could see the very moment he entered into the room, he could see that this boy is not at all extrovert. He is drawn in his thought. And what was that thought? The realization of truth. That is for sure. So he is indrawn in that thought. He is not bothered about his external appearance and all these things. And that is what dragged Sri Ramakrishna's attention. Why Sri Ramakrishna used to Narendranath? There was this special characteristics in him. That love for truth was already, it was the inherent in the personality of Narendranath. Kathopanishad says, Paranchi khani vyatranat swayambhu tasmat parang pashyati na antratman kaschid dhiraha pratyagatmanam aikshat avritta chakshuhu amrutatvam icchan. The Narendranath was this avritta chakshuhu. Completely, the eyes were open outside, but his mind was completely immersed in the thought of God, the thought of God realization. So he was that dhiraha, that steady person. When he enters into the room, definitely the Sri Ramakrishna is going to be happy and more happy. So that was the great appearance of Narendranath, great impression of Narendranath on Sri Ramakrishna. So as a seeker of truth, Narendranath has come to Sri Ramakrishna, but before that, Narendranath went to so many places. He had been to meet Devendranath Tagore. He was supposed to be the great spiritually introvert kind of person. He went to Devendranath Tagore. He could not get his answer. He went to Keshav Chandra Sen. He attended so many lectures of the then intellectuals of Kolkata and all, but he could not get the satisfactory answer there. And somewhere through his Professor Hesty, he heard about Sri Ramakrishna. He could see Sri Ramakrishna coincidentally in the house of Srinath Mitra, and he got attracted towards his personality. See, that is how the truth attracts the truth. So Narendranath was in the search of the genuine. His search was so genuine. He was so sincere that the Guru like Sri Ramakrishna has to come to him. So that is how that relationship of Guru and the Shishya, the master and the disciple, started here. Narendranath, as if he was completely focused on the God realization. There was no other question in his mind. Right from the beginning, Swamiji used to say that whenever I used to go to bed, I used to see a light slowly occupying my whole body, and then I used to fall asleep. I used to see that light in the mid of both the eyebrows, and slowly that light used to occupy my whole body, and I used to fall into sleep. That spiritual experience he was having right from the beginning. Lower thoughts never touched his mind. So we can see right from the beginning, whenever he want to, suppose people are asking him that, see, there any kind of superstitions, he was not going to be the victim of those kind of thinking. That strong mind, strong intellect and awareness, these were the speciality of Narendranath's personality. The right from the focused mind, it has been told in the Mundaka Upanishad that Pranavo Dhanuhu Sharohi Atma Brahma Tallakshamuchyate Apramattena Vedhavyam Sharavattanmayo Bhavet. Apramattena Vedhavyam. Without any kind of disturbance, with complete self-collectedness, complete concentration. That is how you have to focus on the Brahman, and you have to be one with that. That is what the Mundaka Upanishad is telling us. So Narendranath was like that. But someone was required to make him aware about his real nature. So Sri Ramakrishna was doing that task. He was doing everything for Sri Narendranath. So this focused Narendranath. When he went to Dakshineshwar, his whole world, as if it has been changed. What was his question? Whether we can realize the God. Sri Ramakrishna was there. He says, yes, you can realize the God. You can see him the way, more clear the way you are seeing me or I am seeing you. And if you are enough sincere and if you are willing to see him, I can show him to you. So that was the conviction which Sri Ramakrishna given to Narendranath, and there was no necessity afterwards then to look back. Continuously, that in that company, Sri Narendranath was getting merged. So that is the seriousness of his towards the search of truth. No matter whatever the conditions may come in the life, readiness for the sacrifice. He was ever ready with his sharp intellect to cut the bonds of this maya, of this attachment. He was always ready. No one was there who can tie him. The gigantic spiritual personality of Narendranath was getting shaped in the company of Sri Ramakrishna. Continuous visits to Sri Ramakrishna's parlor, it was increasing day by day. But was it there that Narendranath was doing only that? He was not only in the company of Sri Ramakrishna. At the same time, whatever Sri Ramakrishna is telling, he was testing. It was the both way interaction was going on. It was not that Sri Ramakrishna is telling his Upadesha, he is giving the Upadesha, he is giving his teachings, and Narendranath was accepting it blindly. No. Even the person like Sri Ramakrishna has to undergo the test taken by Sri Narendranath. Narendranath was so curious, so aware, and at the same time quite assertive regarding his spiritual inquiries. So sometime he used to put Sri Ramakrishna himself into some kind of questions. And of course, Sri Ramakrishna was the great guru, so he knew how to handle the queries of his disciple. So that was the great thing was going on. At the same time, Narendranath was attracted towards the Western philosophy. Those were the college days. In all these situations, he was studying all these other kind of literature also. He will read a kind of philosophical principles into college. He will be having the discussions with the professors and intellectuals. And he will come to Dakshineshwar and ask those kind of the questions related to those philosophies to Sri Ramakrishna. But Sri Ramakrishna also was not an ordinary being. He was the real experiencer of truth. He was not the scholarly person. He was in a local language or in general sense, he was the illiterate man. Hardly he knew to read and but he was well read of so many things and all this, but the actual realization was there with him through his experience. So he used to satisfy Narens in very miraculous way. That was the one test Narendranath could understand, that yes, this man really, he knows the truth. Through that truth only, I am going to get established into the purpose of my life. So this Narendranath's this journey towards the truth was going on. But it is not supposed to stop here only. Sri Ramakrishna's health and all these things, this Leela was continuing for some time. And the day came when Sri Ramakrishna was being detected with the throat cancer. That was another test for Narendranath. The spiritual person, the so-called God man, he was till yesterday, he was completely absorbed into in the God mood. He was continuously giving the joy to the people, whomever they are coming to him. And today he is suffering on his own. He is suffering with the throat cancer. He is suffering with this kind of physical ailments. He is looking so sick. That charm, that glory is vanishing. And that in this, Narendranath and other disciples, they took the job to serve Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna. They started serving him with the various aspects. And their 100% dedication, they were doing it. But somewhere the human mind, after all it is a human mind, somewhere the doubt was there when Sri Ramakrishna was lying under that deathbed, and in the Kashipur garden house, that was the time when Narendranath alone was serving Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna, the thought came in the mind of Narendranath that Sri Ramakrishna, people look at him as an incarnation of God, but still he is suffering like this. In this stage, at this point, if he says that I am the incarnation of God, then only I will be able to believe it. You just see the peak of his inquiries. In that situation, it is not like an ordinary doubt like you and the doubts which we get. It was Narendranath was the superfine, intellectual, spiritually motivated mind, and Sri Ramakrishna was there to answer him with more than that, much more potential. So, there, when as soon as Narendranath thinks like this, Sri Ramakrishna turns towards him, and he says, Naren, still you are having doubt in your mind. And we know that the world famous statement that one who was Rama, one who was Krishna, is now Ramakrishna in this body, not in the way of your Vedanta, but in real. So Narendranath is got convinced about it. Narendranath was convinced, and then he was dedicated more and more, 100% surrender, the unconditional surrender he has done at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. One more incident was very interesting here. While serving Sri Ramakrishna, suddenly one day Narendranath felt that I should go and see even the other aspects of spiritual life also. Because that whole day, when all these young disciples are gathering there in that Kashipur garden house, there all these people, always they were immersed into the spiritual discussions, discussing about Sri Ramakrishna, about his teaching, various other philosophies, Bharatiya Darshan Shastra and all were young scholarly boys. They used to go there, they used to gather there. So it was a very natural that they were discussing, one day they were discussing about the Buddhist philosophy. They were discussing about the Buddha's incarnation, and suddenly Narendranath felt excited. See here, that was the characteristic of his mind. Whatever he feels, he wills to do, he used to do it. He used to go behind it. So he was so excited. Suddenly that day he thought that why should not we go to Gaya to experience the spirit of Lord Buddha? And Narendranath, Swami Shivananda, that time Taraknath Ghoshal, and Swami Abhedananda, they ran to Gaya. They went to Gaya. 3 days after spending the Gaya, they returned back to Kashipur. After seeing them here everywhere, that was the thing that Narendranath left, Narendranath has gone. They were searching because it was without informing anyone they have left the garden house. And after 3 or 4 days when they returned, they went to Sri Ramakrishna. After going to Sri Ramakrishna told them that, see, I have drawn a line, I have marked. So beyond that mark you cannot go. You have to come back to here once again. So indirectly it was been told, you discuss anything, you try to explore anything, but your real curiosity will be answered by me only. Your real problem of your life, or your, what can I say, the real spiritualization which you need, it is in my hands. That is how we can see, but we can see here this one, that he is daring to understand, to realize the truth. He is ready to sacrifice anything and everything. He was ready to take the decisions. He was ready to take the hardships. So that is one of the very interesting characteristic with Narendranath. His character, that genuine search, without any doubt, genuine search for the truth. He wanted to realize the truth and he worked for it. And that is how, after this genuine truth, what has come to him? There came the experience. In general, we keep on telling, we have so many things to do, we have to realize God, we have to get the peace of mind, this, that, but it is not happening. Somewhere, something is lacking. What is lacking? We are lacking in the sincerity. We are lacking in putting the efforts. Always, we keep discussing many things, but implementing that into day-to-day life is more important. Showing the courage, showing the strength to practice it, that is more important. Without practicing, without entering into seriously into the spiritual path, we are not going to realize. Narendranath has shown through his life that not only the discussions, but we need to get into the practice also. Tremendous practice. What otherwise you just imagine, if we leave that Sri Ramakrishna's predictions about Narendranath, that the moment Narendranath will realize his nature, he will leave his body. He will not stay on this planet even for a second. That was the prediction of Sri Ramakrishna. And we know after his work got done at the age of 39 years, 6 months, 6 days, that was the age when Swamiji left his mortal frame. So is it the age to die? Is it the age to die? If you see the real active life of Narendranath, it started with the company of Sri Ramakrishna, maybe at the age of 14 or 15. And at the age of 39.6, he has given his message to the world and he has left his mortal frame. So we can see one extra occultism, always we are having the habit to see a kind of occultism in everything. So yes, he was from the Saptarshi Bhuvana and he's supposed to go, and Sri Ramakrishna predicted. But other than that, can we see the pressure which he has taken? He continuously, day and night. First, he was right from his childhood, he was in the sincere search of truth. He was ready to sacrifice his time, energy, everything, intellect, everything for the realization of truth. One thing, when he got the person like Sri Ramakrishna, when he got the master like Sri Ramakrishna, he put himself into the severe spiritual practices. Whatever Sri Ramakrishna is telling, however he is telling, if it is a rational, if he is appealing to mind, he used to push himself into that kind of vigorous practices, and day and night he used to follow that path. Unless and until he got satisfied with that concept, he never used to stop. After that, what happened? After Sri Ramakrishna's living mortal frame, did he stop? No. He continued his search, he continued to enhancing his experience, and not only enhancing his own experience, but he was continued preaching the experience of truth to the mankind. Whether he was moving as a parivrajaka all over the India, without food, without not good clothes, without sleepers, with penniless, he was moving from the south to north, east to west, everywhere. And don't we think that has been charged his body? Definitely it has been charged. One day he is staying in the palaces, other day he is staying in the huts, sometime he is staying in the jungle. Can we bear that kind of variations? No, it's not possible for the human body. Further that what he goes, and remember, he is moving with the purpose. He is moving with the realization. He is moving with the thought. He is moving with a message to preach to the mankind. Further, when he goes to the US, when he goes abroad, when he crosses this ocean in the minus degrees, without the enough clothes, without enough resources, he is moving that country from city to city, day and night, giving the lectures again and again. There is no limit. With small discussions, with small listen, our brain get heated and we feel pressurized. When he has studied, when he has coordinated all these things, and when the moment he started preaching those messages among the people were started gathering around him. He was not the lonely preacher. He has given some message and he left. Wherever he used to go, hundreds and thousands of people used to gather around him with the curiosity, and he was satisfying their questions also. So does it not require enough energy? From where he has received it? He has received it through his realizations, through the grace of his Guru, and as it was his own nature also, as a Saptarshi, etc. But we need to understand that man has given his message only in few years. Still we are trying to decode it. Still we are having the discussions over it. Years are over. thousands and lakhs of pages were written in various languages. Still, we feel that evergreen personality, evergreen teaching of Vivekananda need to be more to be explored. So that kind of person. So anyhow, so that was his dedication for the truth. As a seeker of truth, he put his all efforts, all energies. Then, as an experiencer of truth, he unless and until he understood the truth completely, he got established into it. He never stopped. And after that, for the love of this mankind, as Swami Vivekananda mentions, this Nara Rishi, he has the special characteristic. What is that? He has the tremendous compassion in his heart, tremendous feelings for the mankind. And he now and then comes in the form of sage, and he preaches the world once again the wisdom of spirituality. So this Nara Rishi, that was his real spontaneous nature. And that message Vivekananda was delivering. So this is the aspect of Vivekananda as a preacher of truth. Without truth, he has not preached anything. We keep telling that he spoke about the history, he spoke about the nationalism, he spoke about the socialism, he spoke about so many things. But everything he spoke in the frame of spirituality. What actually, if we say, Vivekananda has spoke only about the spirituality. He spoke only about the God. Because he spoke about the eternal truth, we think that because we are in the search of partial truth, we are not sincerely, we are not in the search of eternal truth. So whatever truth appeals us, we can take from his personality. But of course, he is open for it. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna gives the example that someone is somewhere, the distribution of milk or water is going on, and everyone will go there to collect the water or milk, whatever the vessels they have. So some are having very small vessels, some are having very big vessels, some are having two big vessels and all. So as per the shape of vessel, as per the size of vessel, they can collect that much of water. So Vivekananda is like that. He is an eternal source of truth, eternal source of wisdom, eternal source of spirituality. How much ability, how much capacity we got, that much we are going to get from him, that much we are going to receive from him. That is the greatness of Swami Vivekananda. Was that preaching of truth? Of course, it was inherent for Vivekananda, but once again, there was the interference of Sri Ramakrishna here. Sri Ramakrishna, when he was giving, these are the very interesting things actually to study and read also. Sri Ramakrishna was training Narendranath. Narendranath was learning the methods of meditation and all. And one fine day, it happens that when they are in the Kashipur garden house, Sri Narendranath was sitting into the meditation, and Sri Ramakrishna bestow his grace, and Narendranath enters into the samadhi. For long duration, Narendranath was not moved from the place, merged into the samadhi. Everyone goes to Sri Ramakrishna and tells many people that we are not able to see the life in Narendranath. Sri Ramakrishna says, keep quiet, let him be like that. For long time he was demanding for it, so today I have given him. Narendranath was that first experience of samadhi. So after coming down from that samadhi, Sri Ramakrishna asks Naren, how did you feel? So Narendranath said that yes, that was the great. Now I have become the fond of this experience. I don't want anything else. Just I want to remain merged into that experience, remain merged into that reality. That's all. If this one require little bit food, someone can give me, I will have that food just for the small time. I will come back to this worldly plane, and after having that food, once again I would like to enter and remain merged into that samadhi. Hearing this, Sri Ramakrishna says, this is the very lower stage about which you are speaking. You have to grow like a banyan tree, so that below that banyan tree many people will come, they will take the shelter, they will get the peace of mind. You have to be like that. Hearing this, Narendra refuses. He says, no, all those things are not possible from my side. Those things are not meant for me. Till the meditation, till the experience of samadhi, till the realization of God, etc. is all right for me. But this preaching, this working, etc. is not possible for me. That I can't do. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, no, your very bones will work for it. And Sri Ramakrishna made him to work till his last breath. And Vivekananda worked for it. He, as a command of Guru, as the, what I can say, as a Guru Dakshina, he has given his whole life for the resurgence, revolution of this mankind. So, as a preacher of truth, we can see, without discrimination of caste, creed, gender, nation, everything he left behind. And he was the real preacher of Brahman. The people discuss about the reality. They discuss about the oneness. They discuss about the varieties of philosophies and all. But who experiences it? And after that experience, who sacrificed that peace and come back to the plane to preach those ideas? Who Sri Ramakrishna gives that example into the gospel, that he says, Sri Ramakrishna's examples, indeed, there is something really great. He says that some people are there, they come with the instruments, they dig the well, they fetch the water and all these things, and afterwards what they do, they put that instruments back to that well. So nothing to worry. But some people are there, they are completely overwhelmed with the compassion. What they do, they dig the well, they fetch the water also, and these instruments they keep on the bank of that well, on the border of that well, so that somebody else can use it to fetch the another well. Or Sri Ramakrishna gives another example. He says that 4 or 5 people were traveling. They're traveling through a jungle, and they could see the big wall and a ladder. So one person got on that ladder. He could see, out of curiosity, he looked that wall behind. He was exclaiming, "Oh, wow, great, wonderful." Saying this, he jumped there, and afterwards there was no news from his side. So like that, 2-3 people, they continue the same thing. But one person goes, he climbs that wall, he reaches the top of that wall, he sees that inside there is a kind of merriment, and he says his heart gets overwhelmed with the compassion. He says, no, I alone should not enjoy this. Let the others come here to enjoy. Let them understand that here is a mart of joy. So he comes down, and he starts, those who were traveling from that path, he keeps guiding them. Arey, just go here too. Just look into it. See, if you like, you can also be the part of that merriment. So Narendranath was like that. Having that all higher experiences with him, he was ready to sacrifice those experiences. He sacrificed his peace of mind, everything. If you see his ending days, Vivekananda's ending days, if you see, before leaving the mortal frame, he was completely occupied with various diseases. There was the diabetes, there was the heart enlargement, there was so many other, there's insomnia, all these things. With all these things, he was working for the sake of humanity. He wanted that spiritual, unless and until that spiritual wisdom has been spread among the people, the world is not going to march towards the peace. If today we need the peace of mind, if really we need that peace has to be established into today's world, the only way is spirituality. There is no other way. 130, 140 years back, Vivekananda has given this message for us. Now, still, I don't know how many years to take us to understand it, to realize it. So, this was his way of preaching. Complete sacrifice. We can see one single line in the life of Swami Vivekananda, that whether while searching the truth, while experiencing the truth, or while preaching the truth, what he did, he has done everything through only one aspect, that is the sacrifice. Whole life he sacrificed. His mother stayed in the rented house. See, there was just before his leaving his body, his mother could get a small shelter in their ancient house. The lawsuit was filed, and Vivekananda, even as a monk, even as a sannyasi, he was visiting the court. He was trying to solve that issues. His brother's education was taken care by Nivedita and some of his other disciples. So personally, he has not gained anything for his own family or his own sake. But he has given everything, each and every segment of his energy, his personality, he has dedicated it for the humanity. That's why we can call him as the universal man. He alone is capable to, or he alone deserves that title, that he was the universal man. So Vivekananda, that's what he said. What is his the ideal, or what is the purpose of his life? He says very clearly, I will need to preach the divinity unto the man, nothing else. He was not going to compromise for anything for that. He says, my ideal indeed can be put into a few words. What is that? And that is to preach unto mankind their divinity and how to make it manifest in every moment of life. That is his actual purpose, or that is what he preached. That he preached only the divinity. When we were completely under the influence of the thinking or a kind of thought that we are the sinners, we have nothing to do in this world, we are the, what can I say, we were kind of that sluggish and lethargic lifestyle we were having. There was no confidence. That time, this man alone stands with all his realization and the gospel of strength, and he preaches us, ye the children of immortal bliss, that ancient Vedic message. He preaches us with the great vigor and the raised voice, without any fatigue, without any compromise. Ye the children of immortal bliss. Calling the sinner to man, that itself is a sin. So that kind of ideal, that kind of dedication Swami Vivekananda has shown just for the sake of humanity. So these were some reflections on his personality as a seeker of truth, as an experiencer of truth, and as a preacher of truth. So, thank you so much for hearing peacefully and cooperating. Here I would like to conclude the session. Hari Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.